And we are live. Welcome to this Adventures on the Outer Rim session, part of a loosely linked two-shot. These two shots are called To Turn the Tide of Battle. This is episode 1 in the Black Depths of Space. Our story begins with a separated rebel convoy that's trying to rejoin with the mainstay of the rebel fleet. Stranded in the middle of nowhere on the Outer Rim, they find themselves running low on supplies, low on weapons, and even lower on fuel and hope. Their only hope is to jump into the Imperially occupied Zariah System, where they know there to be an Imperial fuel depot, and, shall we say, appropriate some of those very necessary supplies. Now, with fuel running short, and with weapons running even shorter, they are only able to fuel 2 of their X-Wing fighter squads. That is Obsidian Squad and the veterans of the Vermillion squad represented below. So I'm going to ask each of our players in turn to introduce themselves, say a bit about their characters, and obviously feel free to plug any YouTube channels should you have them. So I'm just going to go in the order people are on my screen. Aaron, if you can introduce yourself and please say a bit about your character.
Hi, I'm Aaron Justin Bryan from Table Knights Entertainment, and I will be playing the role of Kelvar Notish, a bit of a rapscallion among Vermillion squadron. Likes to get down and dirty and fly nasty.
Splendid. Thank you very much. Okay, Josh, can you introduce yourself and say a bit about your character, please?
I'm Josh. I run the Heartsfire Saga Alternate Universe series of games with Tides of Change, and I am playing Atre Clicker. Atre is a Verpine rigger, and in every way that Kelvar is the hotshots of the group, Atre is the organized one, micromanaging things, making sure the ships are even sparkling when all possible when we launch on a mission. So they make a good wing pair, constantly at each other's, pissing each other off probably.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, Nick, if you can please introduce yourself and say a bit about your character.
Hey everyone, I'm Nick. I am playing Jin Hidesco. He is the commander and squadron leader of Vermillion Squadron. He is educated, and he's had his father, who was a decorated commander in the Clone Wars, and he's tried to follow in his footsteps. He tries to keep this ragtag group together, and he lets the guys blow off steam when they need to, but otherwise keeps them in check when it's time for battle. He tries to keep all the hotshots in line.
Okay, thank you very much. And last but by no means least, Alex, please can you introduce yourself and say a bit about your character?
Thanks, John. I'm taking over Vermillion 2, and I'm playing a Keldor named Ovarn Savaris. He's an exceptionally talented pilot, probably even a little more lucky than he would like to believe, and might have some tappings into the Force. He's a little more serious, but does take protecting his team quite seriously.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. Okay, we start this session with the ragtag remnants of this rebel convoy. You've just jumped out of hyperspace near the outskirts of the Zariah System. It's an imperially controlled space on the far reaches of the Outer Rim. Should anything happen to you here, help is a very long way away. The provisions of the entire convoy are running extremely low. A few of the smaller subsidiary vessels have been abandoned in other sectors, and people herded onto the few functioning vessels. The commander, Sheb Gergren, has decreed that a certain amount of fuel and a small amount of weapons have been kept back in order to provide them to yourselves and Vermillion Squadron and Obsidian Squadron. There's a sort of friendly rivalry between the two squadrons. During better times, you shared a bit of banter in the pilots' mess, etc. However, things have started to get extremely serious as the situation is becoming more desperate. Whereas Obsidian Squad are more sort of scouts and like advanced guard. You guys are pretty much the sort of veterans, the people who they call in when the scouting's done and it's time to throw things down and see where they land. We start off with you all sat around on the command ship, such as it is, of this rebel convoy. It's an old Gazinti-class cruiser that's obviously seen better days, although they're doing their best to keep it running inside, although it is, like most of the rest of the fleet, on very low power to try and preserve what little supplies it has and fuel it has remaining. As you're all seated around this sort of mission briefing table, a large pot-bellied Mon Calamari, who you know to be Commander Sheb Gergren, walks into the room. You can see some of the other pilots of Obsidian Squadron are sat around the briefing table as well. He walks in, his jowls are inflating and deflating as he walks in. He says, "Well, boys, I don't have to tell you we're in a whole heap of trouble here. Our only hope's to go down and get that damn fuel from the Imperial supply station. I don't need to tell you, boys, that this mission's dangerous." At which point the captain of Obsidian Squadron sort of raises a hand and says, "Okay, so what's the mission? My ships are barely holding together as it is. We've barely got enough fuel to go around, all of us. If we're going to do this thing, we need to do it soon." He says, yes, calm yourself down, Commander. The situation's not quite that desperate yet, but it's getting there. My plan is that we're going to send out Obsidian Squadron to scout out the area. We know there's Imperial forces in this sector, but of course our intel is a little bit old and, well, we don't have the resources to send out many scouting vessels. My plan is to send your squadron out, then when you get back, then we'll decide what to do with Vermillion Squadron. And he looks over towards you, Vermillion 1, Jin, and he says, "How does that sound to you, Commander?"
Okay, that sounds totally doable. We've done a lot more with a lot less.
Good, that's the spirit I like to see. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, gentlemen. The situation's getting bleak. Far bleaker than we've allowed to spread to the rest of the convoy. If we don't get that fuel and those supplies, we're not going to make it to the next sector. We barely had enough fuel to jump into this area of space. If we'd have had more resources, do you think I'd have chosen an imperially guarded system to try and steal fuel from? And he looks around you all at the table.
You could just be testing our metal, but either way, we're good for it.
He turns towards yourself, Calvar, and he says, "Well, this is no laughing matter, Vermillion 4.
I mean, come on. Like, we're really going to lose. We've done so much more, like the good commander said, with so much less. You can't
At this point,
expect
there's
anything less.
a clatter of clicks from Clicker, and those in the squadron and the other officers and stuff that may have picked up some of his words. He says something to the effect that if ego was fuel, we'd fly all the way to Coruscant and win this war right now, just off of Vermillion 4.
Listen, Bugface. Calm down.
Commander Gergren laughs and says, "Yes, I wish we could plug some of you into the bloody fuel tanks and get us all the way to the next sector. I'm damn sure I could find somewhere easier to pick on than the bloody Zariah Sector. To be honest, the natives of this sector have always given me the creeps a little bit, but, well, beggars can't be choosers."
Commander, your faith has not been misplaced. We'll make it happen.
Good. Well, I want you gentlemen to get down, Vermillion Squadron, get down to the hangar base, make sure you're ready to fly. Literally the second Obsidian Squadron come back, I want you out there. I'll brief you via the communications as you're on the way. But until then, sit tight, make sure your ships are ready to go. Obsidian Squadron, report to Hangar Bay 2, get your ships out there, get us some intel. At which point, Obsidian Squadron, wearing their sort of black jumpsuits or dark grey jumpsuits, stand up, so holding their helmets under their arms, nod. The captain walks out of Obsidian Squadron, Obsidian 1, walks over towards you, Vermillion 1. He holds a hand out, grabs your hand and shakes it, and he says, "Well, with any luck, we'll see you boys in the mess after this is all over, and we'll all have a few drinks together. I think some of you still owe me credits from the last card game.
That's
Listen,
probably true, but you know who's keeping count?
I don't owe you jack.
Mm-hmm. That's
Says what?
Calabar saying that he owes you a bottle of Jack.
He looks over and he says, well, I should think so if those cards will be sleeved from the last game or anything to go by. And he laughs to show there's no like ill feeling behind it. As he turns to go, his men walk out. He stops on the door, turns back for a few moments. This time his face sort of quite pale, quite serious looking. He's quite a jovial man normally, but now there's no humour to his face. He looks back at all four of you and he says, good luck, boys. May the force be with you. And he turns
And also
walks
with
out the
you.
door.
And Commander, if you need me, drop that comm signal. I'll be there in a flash.
Thank you. That's good to know, Vermillion, too. With any luck, you'll not be needed and we'll have all this dealt with, ready for dinner time.
You never know.
He frowns as though he doesn't really believe what he's saying, and then he walks out to the door. The door hisses shut behind him, and you hear the faint footfall of his men walking down the corridor, and you hear him shouting, come on, boys, look lively. Do you want to live forever or something? And you hear the footfalls of them disappearing as they head towards Hangar Bay 2.
Well, I'm going to beat my comm link to Roxo and say, yeah, get the ship prepped. We're on our way down.
You hear a variety of beeps and whirs in the affirmative.
Okay, guys, let's get them. Grab my comm.
As we're heading down, Kel, side corridor and engineering. He's going to go visit Cassie for a second, and he'll join everybody else right after.
Yeah, always last. Got it.
As we're exiting, though, to explain that even further, like as we exit, Clicker will start like quizzing Kelvar on some maneuver or another, or the protocol under certain situations, and like he's partially leaning away like to the hangar. So at some point he realizes Kelvar's jetted off for some reason and just gets frustrated and continues on.
Okay, so what's Kelvar doing before he joins the others in the hangar bay?
My bow, Cassie, and engineering.
Okay, not a problem. You visit Cassie in engineering.
Pre-mission proceedings.
Indeed, and pre-mission proceedings proceed pretty much as you'd expect them to. However, you do get the sense that she's extremely worried about you, especially given in engineering they're pretty much keeping this whole fleet running at the minute with sort of elastic bands and the power of prayer. So she knows how desperate things are getting, and she's obviously very concerned for your health on this dangerous mission. Or perhaps she's just worried about the fact that you're taking most of the fleet's fuel. Who knows?
From my normal jovial attitude, and I look at her in the eye and I go, listen, we're going to be fine, okay? I know that I put on a big face, but trust me, we're the best out there. And I know, that's not a lot coming from me, but I know that we can do this. No need.
She looks at you and she says, I know you all know what you're doing, but this isn't like normal. If something happens to you, it's not just you guys that'll be lost. Everyone in the convoy is relying on you to get this done. Well, we don't stand a chance.
Here's
for that
the question:
at all.
Has anything happened to me yet?
Well, no, but there's always a first time. Look, I don't want to think about it. And she gives you a kiss on the cheek and then says, "Look, just promise me that you'll be careful out there."
Yeah, I will. And I walk away knowing in my head.
Yeah, go ahead.
I walk away knowing in my head I just lied to her, because that's not how I fly.
She walks out. She's sort of like, as you are putting her clothing back on her, and as she heads down the corridor in the opposite direction to yourself, she turns and looks at you and says, "Well, I've got to get back to engineering. It's a mess down there. May the force be with you."
Force be with you too.
And she turns and walks off. You hear a slight sob from her as she turns away, obviously not wanting you to see her getting upset, and she disappears down the corridor towards the engineering deck.
Awkwardly, I scratch the back of my neck and I whisper to myself as I turn around, hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you go.
Okay, then I'm presuming you join the others.
Yeah, I go back.
Sorry, the shuttle. Okay, not a problem. You meet up with the others who are all doing their sort of pre-flight checks, checking their R2 units, making sure the fuel lines are clear, etc., that the weapons are ready to go. Commander Gergren has basically specifically set a team of engineers to make sure the X-Wings, amongst all other things, are in top running, since, as he said numerous times when other people have gone, oh no, we could use that fuel on something else, we could use those weapons for something else, like those power packs. He's just said, look, if the Imperials attack us, these fighter craft are pretty much our only defence, since we don't have any big sort of capital ships to defend us. So we need to make sure they're good to go. So he's deliberately set aside rations and fuel, etc., that could have gone elsewhere, because he knows that at some point in time your squadron and Obsidian Squadron are going to be needed. About 2 hours pass while you're doing this various maintenance, etc. Then you start to notice that a lot more sort of engineers are gathering in the shuttle bay. A bit of frenetic activity is built up. There's technicians running about. There's engineers sort of shouting to each other. You see them heading over to the empty spaces where Obsidian Squadron's X-Wings were previously berthed before they set out on their mission. The noise level in the room rises as they're sort of shouting amongst each other and talking about a lot of things that you guys don't understand, to be honest. A lot of it's technical jargon, although you do catch reference to the fact that they're obviously expecting some ships coming in soon.
Gotcha. Clicker, being kind of the tech head of the squad, has been spending the time making sure our ships are ready, going over what the technicians have already done. And whenever the frantic activity gets to where it's pretty clear that it's coming, something's about to happen, he'll make his way over to Vermillion 1 and do the whole clicking thing to him and basically say, sounds like they're about to come back in momentarily.
Mm-hmm. We need to stay sharp, and we're gonna most likely be heading off very soon. And when Kelvar has come back, this was initially when he's come back, I was sure to reprimand him for not being on standby.
Yeah, you're right. That's my bad. My bad.
I've heard that before. You better be on standby and ready to go for this mission.
Yeah, that's. I kept it short, okay? You know.
As you're saying this, the large blast doors in the shuttle bay hiss open. There is obviously the sort of force field over it that keeps atmosphere in, but allows ships to pass through it and dock. You see it as a sort of vaguely luminescent, shimmering blue field over the opening, and beyond it is the blackness of space, pinpointed in random points with small specks of light, stars in the vast distance. As you look, you can see the 4 ships of Obsidian Squadron slowly approaching the hangar bay. You can see all of them have the marks of heavy damage on them.
I tell Clicker to tap into their communications. I want to hear everything going on as it happens.
And I'm prepping my ship for immediate takeoff just in case.
Mm-hmm.
I'll patch into communications.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm not even going to ask you to make a roll for that. It's a fairly standard thing. Mm-hmm. As you patch in, and you can all hear this, you hear the slightly pained voice of Obsidian 1 saying, "This is Obsidian Squadron. We're coming in. The outskirts of the system, a few miles in. There's an asteroid field. They seem to have planted the asteroid field with some sort of long-range sensor devices. One of them started picking us up as soon as we entered the field, and they're equipped with anti-fighter craft weaponry. We got shot up pretty badly, but I think we managed to take it out before it sent a message. There's no way to tell how many more of them there are further into the asteroid field, though. I couldn't risk pressing in any further. Obsidian 2 and 3 are shot up very badly. We barely made it out of there.
Okay, I'm going to basically get them to send us all the actual data that they've obtained.
Vermillion 1, would you like me to go out there and escort them home?
No need. It doesn't seem like they're in pursuit. Stay sharp, stay ready.
Okay, Obsidian squad move in. They send you all of their telemetry, Vermillion 1.
Okay, we're just waiting for our is it Shab Gurdwin to let us know when it's time to take off.
Indeed. Okay, as Obsidian Squadron arrive back in, obviously the technicians swarm all over their ships and pop the cockpits, etc. You notice as Obsidian 1, the leader of that squadron, climbs out, you can see he's actually got a large bit of metal, perhaps from the inside of his own ship when it took damage, sticking out of his side. There's dark blood running down his already dark jumpsuit. His face is extremely pale, as though all the blood is drained out, and he has to be helped down from his ship by one of the technicians.
I try to bolster my
Kelvar
team
is
and
gonna
let him know that he's a tough son of a bitch, and we need to be too.
Kelvar kind of looks shocked for a second, and he shakes it off, listening to his commander and psyching himself up. And he clicks to Clicker, and he says, "Hey, Bugface, asteroid field sounds fun. Do you think you can keep up?"
With your pieces, no. But I'll beat you to the planet.
As if.
Okay, as you're saying this into your comlinks, Obsidian 1 is helped over towards where Orvan and Jin are standing, and he looks at the two of you, Vermillions 1 and 2. And you can see he's obviously in pain. That the technicians are like, "Oh, we need to take you to the medical bay." And he sort of pushes them off a bit and holds his hand up to silence them. And he says, "Listen, boys, if you guys don't manage to take out those long-range sensors array in the asteroid field, they'll know we're coming far in advance. We won't stand a chance. That they'll muster whatever defenses they've got in this system, and they'll be there to meet us. We wouldn't stand a chance against a fully armed Imperial fleet. You need to take out those sensors before we can do anything."
I grab his hand and I reassure him that we'll take care of it. And I let him know that, just like you said, you promised you'd be back in your home. Good job, soldier.
He sort of grabs hold of your shoulder, maybe as a friendly gesture, perhaps just to hold himself up and stabilize himself. And he looks at you, and then his attention's drawn by Obsidian 3, who is literally lifted onto a stretcher out of his X-Wing. You can see there's a number of holes alongside of his X-Wing, and he's got a sort of bluish, unhealthy tinge around his human features, at which point the commander of Obsidian Squad looks at you, Jin, and says, I need to go and see how my squad's doing. I wish we could be with you out there. Look be with you, boys.
Okay.
And he
Start going through pre-flight stuff.
Okay. Your comlinks hiss, and you hear the voice of Shab Gurgren, Commander Gurgren, say, "Right then, Vermillion Squadron, are you all stowed away and ready to go?"
Roger.
Yes, sir.
I've been monitoring the
Tail ends
communications
ready to
with
ride.
Obsidian Squad. Good, my boy. You need a bit of that fire when you're out there. I wish I was a younger man and I could be with you myself. But Obsidian Squadron are right. We need you to take out whatever sensor array they've got in that asteroid belt so we can move the rest of the fleet through it. If they have advance notice that we're coming, we won't stand a chance.
Consider it done.
Well, may the force be with you then, gentlemen. I look forward to seeing you all after. I don't know whether we have enough fuel and energy cells to risk another rendezvous. You might be out there for some time, but I've had hollow emitters fitted into your X-wings. The best that we could scrape up, I'll keep in touch with you via those. And as he's saying that, any of you within your X-wings, a blue flickering hologram of Commander Gergerin appears sort of superimposed over the cockpit. You can see he has his normal sort of inscrutable Mon Calamari expression. He says, "Well, may the force be with you."
And with you.
Good hunting, gentlemen.
I put my visor down and get in the cockpit.
Okay.
Clicker will basically just kind of do the whole repulsor lift off type thing and move into position, waiting on the other three to be ready to leave the hangar bay.
Okay, not a problem. You all slowly depart from the hangar bay, and as you move out and your sensors sort of come fully online as you move away from the ship, you are actually picking up on the furthest sort of extension range of your sensors a large floating field of debris, a huge asteroid field, probably about 10 miles wide. It's difficult to pick up any sensor readings from within the asteroid field. It seems that the asteroids themselves have some sort of magnetic component or something similar that is interfering with your scanners. You could probably still use them at short range, you think, but they won't be much use for long-range penetration of the asteroid field.
As we start in that direction, Clicker will switch to the frequency just for the squadron and say, I recommend we stay in fighter pairs with enough distance between us that if one of these things is a mine, that we don't lose all 4 ships.
Well, duh.
This kid.
Okay, and you all start heading out. Are you all making your way directly towards the asteroid field? Obviously now I'm going to place Vermillion 1. You are in charge of the squadron. Give the orders to your squadron, Vermillion 1.
All right, I say we all take off and head over there. Going to keep our eyes wide open, obviously, and I want everyone to, once we get out there, to actually stay in close range with me. I know it's a little bit against Clicker's advice there, but for right now, if everyone stays close, we're going to gain some situational awareness by hanging tight and getting all our sensors in one spot. And what that's going to do for us in a rural sense is improve our vigilance and perception checks.
Splendid. That order comes across loud and clear on the comlinks. From now on, I'm going to assume that unless you guys say otherwise, anything you say is being broadcast on the comms channel just to your squadron. So people feel free to react to other people when they speak, even though you're in separate ships. If you want to do something specifically that's not on the comms system, obviously just make that clear when you say so. Now, are you all just full speeding it towards this asteroid field? What's the plan?
I think that we need to kind of try to skim across the outskirts of the asteroid field before we actually enter. If they're kind of like, you know, just try to skim the sector and scan first if we can.
Okay.
Maybe not full speed.
Okay.
And again, if we stay close to me, then our perceptions will be a lot better. You guys we've probably all worked with each other before, so you're aware of this. We'll obviously split off when the need arises, but hopefully we could get the drop on them instead of them getting the drop on us. Clicker, is there anything that you could put together sensor-wise that could boost our sensors in this kind of magnetic field?
Would that be a mechanics or a computers thing?
I would say that would probably be a mechanics thing, because it'll basically be you trying to work out ways you can use your existing sensors to compensate for the magnetic interference. If you want to make a roll for that, I would say that's a difficulty 3 roll. However, one of them will be red, since I will use a dark side point.
Okay. And on mechanics checks, I removed 2 setbacks, so even if there would be setbacks, I'd probably negate them. So.
There would be normally, but you'll negate them.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Oh no.
Well, I got success. I found a way around the magnetic field.
Okay,
But,
so what I'm going to say with that is you have managed to succeed to compensate, and you're able to obviously inform the others how they can do likewise. So feel free to narrate the manner in which you compensate for the magnetic interference and how you let the others know. And I'll let you know what happens with the bad bit.
Basically, so what I'm thinking is, since it's a magnetic field, I basically, I'll start making some changes on my sensors, and then I'll tell Kelvar to change his sensors to a harmonic frequency, basically like the positive negative frequencies, and then once it starts working for us, I'll communicate the frequencies to the other pair, where each fighter pair is working to combine sensors in the astromechs, communicating to pick up the information to kind of like an echolocation type thing, bouncing different frequencies.
Yeah, indeed. Clicker sends you across this idea about altering your sensor, so instead of one continuous sort of stream of sensor sort of information that's being sent out, you actually sort of change it to like a pulsing frequency that pings out occasionally, and you can use that when it bounces off things to register stuff that you wouldn't normally be able to pick up due to the interference.
I comment on it that it's almost like insects working with their antennae. Good job, Clicker.
What would you expect from Bugface?
His mandibles go up in despair and of course, what are you thinking?
Okay, unfortunately, as you're using this new echolocation method of operating the sensors, you sweep it over an area, Clicker, and you register that something appears to have picked up the ping that you have sent out, and you're starting to receive a number of electrical and electronic signals from one of the larger asteroids, as though something was powering up on the asteroid.
Okay,
I have just to let you know, for I guess for rolling purposes, we are going to get 2 boost die to perception and vigilance. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, with those boosts, I also have uncanny senses through being tapped into the Force. Would I pick up anything and maybe be facing the right direction to go handle whatever he just triggered on us?
Okay, well, Clicker will get to react first because he picked this up as part of the last roll, so you will have picked that up first, Clicker. As you rightly say, though, you will all shortly become aware of it.
Well, since it's Star Wars, I guess I'll throw out I've got a bad feeling about this.
It had to happen.
Yep.
Okay.
And I'll be sending the coordinates as the different perception people pick up things or whatever.
Okay. As Clicker sends out the coordinates for this large asteroid, which you can all easily locate with the information he's given you, Orvan, with your sensitivity to the Force, you do start feeling a sort of a slightly pensive, sort of foreboding feeling, as though something's about to happen. Those of you with just the normal perception, you do see what appears to be a small sort of metallic nodule attached to this large asteroid as it slowly comes into the sort of dim light of a nearby sun. And you can see there this nodule slowly lighting up. Effectively, it looks a bit like the top of one of the Imperial probe droids, only far larger. And it slowly, as you watch, what appear to be 2 large guns sort of fold out from the side, and you see lights start to wink on. And what looks for all the world like an antenna with a receiver or broadcasting dish emerge from a compartment in the side of it.
Anyone else think that looked like a big gun?
Thank you, Captain Obvious. I agree. I think it's time for us to take it out.
Is that an order,
Roger,
Captain?
Vermillion 1. I'm on it.
Absolutely. First, let's make sure there's not more of them just around the corner. Let's give some a quick look around. I don't want you to get caught between 5 of them.
Okay, now, Clicker, can you please make me a computer's roll, difficulty 2? Orvan, can you please make me a force roll? Just roll a force dice.
Can I have my astromech make the computer's roll?
You can indeed.
Okay. Difficulty 2, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 2 successes.
Okay, since you're the person who first detected this and you've had your astromech obviously collating the data it's receiving from it, since that's what they do best apart from guiding ships, your astromech sort of in a whirring, bleeping sort of fit of binary language informs you that it's starting to receive broadcast signals from the metal installation as though it's getting ready to broadcast a signal.
I will I'm going to broadcast to the squadron. Astromech's Vermillion squadron, all attempt to jam that signal.
Okay. Can you, if your astromech is going to attempt to jam it, can you all make me a roll using your astromech stats? You should hopefully all have a copy of that.
This is a computer's roll?
Yeah, it's 2 yellow and 1 green.
You want us all to do it?
Yep.
Okay, what's the difficulty?
The difficulty is 3.
Would you like to make one of those red?
No, it's fine.
Alright.
Mine didn't.
Mine didn't.
Oh, it looks like we got some of the successes, though. Nick got a couple.
Yay!
Yeah, never mind that force die. Sorry.
Did I need to make one as well?
Yeah, if you're using your astromech to jam it. Okay, so between the astromechs of Kelvar and Orvan, they report back to you in a sort of style manner that they have successfully jammed the signal. However, they do inform you that the installation, the sensory apparatus, is only just powering up. The reason they've been able to block it is because at the minute its transmissions are at fairly low power. However, as it continues to power up, it's going to get more difficult, and if it gets to full power, they're not sure they'll be able to jam the signal.
Okay.
I
Okay,
think that means that we should stop it now.
move in, boys.
Alright.
Yep.
Make Obsidian Squadron proud.
The
Are we separating at this point?
Yes, that sounds good. We'll form up after you're done.
Alright. I say,
I'm gonna keep a
Bugface,
vigilant
follow me.
eye. Sorry about that. I'm gonna keep a vigilant eye while the rest of them do what they need to do.
I am going to skirt to the right of the big gun and target whatever. Can I see a sensor? Like, not the sensor, the transmitter?
You can certainly see the large sort of satellite dish that I described previously. It's a fair bet that's what's sending the signal.
Then I'm going to shoot that first.
Okay, not a problem. However, as you are moving, is Kelvar the only one closing on it to take a shot, or is anyone else? So Orvan and Kelvar are going in to take the shots. Is that correct?
I'll cover his 6. I'll take up his wing.
I'm on Kelvar's wing, and Commander's with Orvan. So basically, like, we were moving as
Then I'll go
4. We're probably doing the whole, like, spread apart a little bit and approach from flanking positions type thing.
Okay, no problem. Orvan and Kelvar, as you move in, the 2 guns that have emerged from the side of the installation, the sensory apparatus, open fire as you move within range, since it has a longer range than your X-Wings. So I'm going to make an attack roll for the sensory apparatus on each of you. Let me just check your defense score, since I believe it's X-Wings you have some. Yeah, defense 1. Okay. So let's start first of all with Kelvar.
Yeah.
Okay. Using your superlative X-Wing skills, would you care to narrate how you deftly avoid this salvo of fire from one of the big guns?
So as I'm rushing in, as is Kelvar's way, I know I'm gonna get the first couple shots thrown at me. This is just standard operating procedure for Kelvar. And as they come in, I flip open my wing flaps so that the X comes and the shots go straight through where they split open.
Nice. Nice.
And I
Okay,
go,
now I'm going to do...
Stupid.
Now I'm going to do the second gun shooting at Orvan's vessel. Okay. You, however, are not so lucky, Orvan. Let me just check the armor on those bad boys. Okay, you will be taking 2 points of damage to your hull.
Isn't his a miss?
Nope.
No, he accidentally hit the roll button twice.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, at least he's not getting a triumph on this then. I think that's better.
Let me just reset them. There we go. Okay, so you take 3 points of hull damage as laser fire from this second of these huge guns slams into the front of your X-wing. There is a small shower of sparks from one of the secondary control panels inside your cockpit. Kelvar, from where you're sitting, as you look out to the side of your cockpit window, you see the blaster fire just like thud into the side of Orvan's X-wing.
You getting a little slow out there, or what?
As you're being thrown around,
I'll get what I've got.
As you're being thrown around, and you hear your R2 unit going.
Roxo, can you put that fire out, please? Thank you.
Okay, then we come to you guys, closing with the installation. Kelvar.
All right, what? Let's see. It's a gunnery truck, right? I'm using
the difficulty will be 2, and since it has defensive shielding, there will be 1 setback dice and 1 black dice.
Okay. I think that I negate that. Take away a setback. No, that's for piloting. Yep. Never mind.
Okay.
All right, so it's still there. All right, so I have 2
1
of those. And
I think the 2 of you that are zeroing in on the fire, y'all can do the stay on target maneuver while the other 2 of us are covering you.
Yeah.
That upgrades your attack roll.
Okay, so does it upgrade it or give me a boost die?
Upgrades the attack roll.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now I have 3 yellow and 1 green versus 2 purple and 1 black. All right.
Correct.
Oh man, I just made. Oh snap! I perform a critical because I can.
Okay. Okay. Which with the critical, rather than rolling on the table, since the tables aren't really built for like small Imperial sort of sensory apparatus. Yeah, you know, it's an obvious oversight in the rules. What can you say? But I'm going to say that you have indeed inflicted some damage on it. You see some chunks blown off it. Because of the critical, I'm going to say that you have the choice. You can choose to either take out one of the 2 guns, or you can take out the satellite dish.
As I'm strafing by, one of my laser fire actually just jams into the barrel of one of the guns as it was firing, and as you say, destabilizes it, making it useless.
Okay, yeah, you watch from where you are, Orvan and Clicker and Vermillion 1 in your vessels. You see as a bolt of blaster fire from Kelvar's X-wing sort of shoots down the barrel of this gun. It appears to almost ripple like liquid for a few moments, then sort of explodes apart from the inside, sending fragments of metal lazily spinning off into the blackness of space. Then we come to Orvan. Presumably you're still approaching, even though you've taken a bit of a ding to the side of your ship.
Yes, I'm still approaching. Has the target been completely destroyed? I've had a choppy connection. I missed some of the audio.
The target has not been destroyed. One of its weapons has been taken out. There's now only one gun and the satellite dish active.
Okay. Since the other two teammates, I'll try to take out the other gun, and hopefully the team. I'm going to tell. I got the gun. You guys go after that satellite dish, and I lost the dice for the difficulty with the choppiness on my connection.
It's 2 purple, 1 black.
Okay. And targeting computer assist at all with the ship, or is that included in me?
It's included.
Okay, then I'm going to roll away.
Ooh!
So,
Okay.
my X-wing. The guns has the X foils open to. I did not get a critical, but I did 7 with the extra point.
Okay, not.
And you can trigger linked. You can trigger linked with 2.
Yep.
That's a second bolt hits it.
Do I roll again, or does it hit again?
No, it's the second bolt, but it's the base damage, so it's like a 7 and a 6. As like both bolts from your right side hit it at the same time, as opposed to just one.
Okay.
That's what Link 3 means. You can do that if you were to roll 6 advantages, it hit with all 4 somehow.
Okay, Orvan, would you care to narrate the explosive fashion in which you put an end to this sensor?
Well, I click the X foils to their weaponized mode opened, rotate and spin, and the instead of like a 4 blast, it's a single bead from each of these guns pounding into this thing, and I corkscrew as I shoot it and then pull away so I don't crash.
That'd be good.
Okay,
not crashing is an important thing here.
You swerve up at the last minute to the undercarriage of your X-wing, only like a few sort of meters away from this large asteroid as you pull up and bank steeply. As you do, there's a series of explosions from this sensory apparatus. The astromechs on board, all of your fighters, inform you that the signal has ceased, and you can just see there's just basically a melted patch of molten metal and fragmented circuitry now remaining on this large asteroid.
Ooh! Sometimes it feels good to be so bad, don't it, Orvan?
No kidding. You don't have to worry about that satellite dish. You can conserve the ammo.
You guys make this look easy.
I'm going to immediately tell my astromech to start scanning for the next target.
Form on me, boys.
Wait,
Okay,
what about the last gun?
The installation has been effectively destroyed.
Oh, okay. I'm making sure.
Yeah, no problems. As you're
Elvar,
all
are you
contemplating
breaking
what to do
rank and
next,
going ahead? Or are you coming back and forming on us?
Don't give him an option.
Is that a question, Commander?
I'm gonna, I'm gonna definitely call you out by your last name instead of your call sign. Nodish, form up on me. Don't make me repeat myself.
Yes, sir. I turn around.
Okay, as you're all forming up, the hollow emitters that have been fitted to your X-Wings flicker, and the blue figure of Commander Gergren appears, and he says, Commander, what's the current status?
One down. We're mowing a path for you, Commander.
Good, let us know when we can start moving through. Now that it looks like we're going in, I'll let you in on the rest of the plan. We've managed to keep one of our troop transports operating. It's nothing spectacular, it's not well armed, but we've managed to fit one of our remaining squadrons of foot troops, Furio Squadron, on board. It's our hope that we can land them on the small moon that has the Imperial fueling depot on it. They can acquire the fuel, get back to their vessel, and we can get out of here while the going's good. However, as soon as we start moving the troop transport in, we're going to be picked up by whatever defences they have around the moon. I'm going to need you boys to keep the enemy off the troop transport long enough for it to get onto the moon's surface.
That sounds like a dangerous mission, sir. Not sure who are the idiots you got to sign up for that one, but wish them luck from Vermillion Squadron.
I'll take it. You guys can.
That sounds fun.
So I'm sure they'll be happy to know that Vermillion Squadron's up here looking after them, boys.
At which
Roger
point, Clicker clicks back over to Squadron Frequency and says, "So, since you guys like to make insect jokes, let's go kick the hornet's nest and then run away."
Commander Gurion, how is Obsidian 1 and Obsidian 3?
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but Obsidian 3 didn't make it. We think Obsidian 1's going to be fine, but he's pretty shook up. He was pretty badly injured.
Looks like we have some payback to deliver.
As long as you don't forget the mission, with a lot of angry and scared people up here relying on you, boys. We need you to help us bring them home.
It'll be done.
Good thing.
At this,
His work won't be in vain, sir.
Good hunting. And
all right, John. While they're finishing the conversation, basically I'm like working on a computer model with the sensors from the Astromechs and whatnot, and broadcasting to the three of them. Basically, what I'm going to do is pick a spot as close to the moon as we can get that's in the edge of the asteroid field. And I'm going to basically indicate that the three of them should form up there, and that I'm going to fly out, since I have the fastest ship, and stir up the hornet's nest and then fly back into the asteroid field where we have cover to benefit and see what we can do.
So
that sounds like the fun part of the mission.
You're going to get him to chase you back, and then we come up from behind them? Is that the point, Clicker?
Mm-hmm.
I like
or
that.
I'll lead them straight into you, and you can blow them out of the sky that way. But you'll be able to hide behind the asteroids until they don't realize that they've walked into some level of a trap.
Okay, I think that a Clicker should try to lure him back, as he's saying, but fly right past us, and then we get behind him. Hopefully we'll have an advantage.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, not a problem. So you all, it's going to take a couple of hours to reach this moon, but you all, the other three of you, rendezvous at this point that the coordinates that Clicker has given you. Then Clicker, on your own, you slowly start making your way out towards this moon. Are you scanning it with sensors or anything along those lines as you're approaching?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to get the best information I can, and I'm going to the information that I'm getting as the astromech's able to process it. I'm going to broadcast it out behind me in such a way that it should be obvious to anyone who picks me up that I am broadcasting to someone, but it should not be obvious who or where they are. If that makes sense. I'm not doing a tight band that might, because basically I'm thinking if I do a tight band, they might not pick it up, but if they do pick it up, it's going to give away that there's a trap. Whereas if I do a broadband, they will know something's being broadcast to, but they won't know what or where.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's absolutely fine. Okay, can you please make me a computer's roll for your scanning as you approach this small moon?
Okay.
Can I do? Can I get on a private channel with Clicker, telling him not to be a hero? Get out of there as soon as you can. I'm going to do a field commander maneuver, which is going to give him 1 strain to perform 1 free maneuver when he needs it.
Okay. So, bolstered by the words of your commander, Jin, or Vermillion 1, as his call sign is known, you have that bonus, Clicker. You know that in previous sorties, although he's a little bit possibly less humourful than some of the other members of the squad, and he's all business when it comes down to the mission, you know that you've relied on his advice previously, and it's paid off, so you do feel a bit bolstered by that, and you gain the benefits that he's just described.
That'll be 1 strain when you decide to use it.
Okay. Alright, so what difficulty was the sensors check?
The difficulty of the sensors check is 3, and one of those is red.
Oh, successes and
Okay, pretty much as you sort of you just sort of skim high orbit of this moon. There is some gravity and atmosphere around this small moon, although it's fairly sort of gravity light. The air would certainly be quite light. You're picking up what amounts to a small city on the moon. It's obviously very heavily industrialized. You're picking up lots of signs of power plants, things like that, generators, etc. You're also picking up what appears to be a large open air sort of launch bay. Effectively, there are ships, small fighter-sized ships, about 12 of them currently scrambling to launch.
Is this a Imperial base, or is it actually a city that just has an Imperial base at it?
You think that it's mostly an Imperial base. The city's probably there just to provide the workers and the people who work on the base with houses, etc. And a lot of it's sort of more industrial plants, probably providing power to the fuel, etc.
As I said, I'm going to kick the Hornet's Nest, and I'm going to do that by launching one proton torpedo at the hangar bay. Just a single.
Not a problem. Make me your attack roll. Don't forget to mark off that you've used one of your proton torpedoes, which are obviously in fairly limited supply. Effectively, you guys are carrying what they've got left.
Do we each have the 6 that it says is the normal?
Yep, you each have the full complement, but basically that's your lot. Once they're used, there's not going to be any more for a while.
Gotcha. All right. I'm going to use one of these force points. And I'm going to aim and trying to remember if there's a an assist that the astromech can give or not. I can't remember.
Let me just have a look. I've got the stats here.
Can't remember if it's something they can do or if it's something they do.
Did you get your 2 boost die for double aiming?
I've got that marked, yeah.
I think he's just trying to make sure the best possible crap can happen.
I'm quite happy to say the astromech can provide you with a boost dice to represent its assistance.
Okay. And it's difficulty 2. Does it have a defense of any kind for the hangar bay?
The hangar bay is open air, so it doesn't have any defense. It's quite an easy target hit. It's quite big.
And does anybody happen to know offhand what guided 2 does?
I think that helps with your shot.
If you miss, you get
not
another
very
roll.
specific.
Yeah, that's how I roll. I don't have a book either, so
I think
sadly.
Isn't it that if you get 2 advantages, you get to re-roll at the end of the turn if you miss?
Guided. Active. Guided requires 3 advantages to activate unless otherwise specified in the weapon's description. If you miss while firing guided, and guided is activated, you can make an attack check at the end of the round. The difficulty of the check is calculated by comparing the weapon's silhouette of 0 to the silhouette of the target, and the check's green equal to guided. Oh, okay, so you get a basic attack to just try to hit again if you miss, which hopefully you don't do in the first place. Okay.
Go for it.
All right. Here we go.
Bombs away.
Ooh, dang!
That'll do.
So that is 8 damage. I'll use 2 advantages to make it a critical hit, and then 1 advantage for
Linked?
No, linked takes 2, and I was only shooting a single missile because I just want to kick the Hornet's Nest here.
Why are you only getting 8 damage? Don't you add your successes to all of that?
Oh, it's 8 damage, yeah, so 11 damage.
Ooh.
Should be 12.
No, because 1 success is needed to actually hit with whatever the base number is. So it's that first success gives you the 8 of your weapon.
Oh, I've always taken that as an added to damage too. But maybe I read it wrong.
Actually, you know what? I'm not going to critical. I'm going to spend the 2 advantages to activate the breach 6, so it actually hits something that causes an explosion in the area. So it does the. So it'll do 11 damage to whatever particular ship I hit, and then it would do 9 damage to everything else in the immediate vicinity.
Not a problem. Would you care to narrate how your spectacular launch of your proton torpedo actually destroys 3 of the TIE fighters that are currently preparing to scramble of the 12 that are on the hangar launch area?
As the various TIE fighter pilots are loading into their vehicles and their technicians are running the first pair of TIE fighters into the air, I make contact. The explosion detonates one of them and sends its debris flying into its wingmate as well as the next TIE fighter in line, and shrapnel is scattering everywhere, burning and all that kind of stuff. There's probably other minor various injuries and shrapnel flying everywhere, damaging systems of various vehicles.
Okay, and that is what happens. However, as those 3 TIE fighters explode with a loud the other TIE fighters begin to launch from the hangar bay, heading upwards into the orbit of the moon, pursuing you, sort of rapidly accelerating to their top speeds.
Now, I want the rest of you fellas to be subtle, like Clicker's probably doing right now. He's usually, really subtle about his tactics, and no fancy flying.
At this point, the free maneuver that Nick gave me earlier, I'm going to suffer the strain, and I'm going to punch it as I get head out of the atmosphere towards the asteroid.
Not a problem. You're picking up these TIE fighters approaching you, 11 of them remaining on your scanners. Your astromechs whirring and bleeping worriedly. You basically full throttle your ship. It whines a little in protest for a few moments before rapidly accelerating to its top speed as you spin it round and begin heading back towards the rendezvous coordinates, with these TIE fighters rapidly bursting out of orbit of the moon and pursuing you.
In Kelvar's cockpit, he's just going, it's just so boring. Just want to shoot something already. My comms are off, and when I hear the commander say, "Don't do any fancy flying," knowing that he can't see me, I just go.
Okay, no problems. Right, now, Clicker, I would like you to make me a piloting roll, please. The difficulty is 3. One of those is red. This is to see whether you can make it back to the coordinates before some of these TIE fighters get a chance to open fire on you.
Difficulty 3, 1 red, you said?
Yep.
Wow. Nice roll.
Solid.
Okay, not a problem. With that, you manage to make it back with only one of the TIE fighters getting within range to launch an attack on you before you fully make it back, rather than sort of all of them surrounding you and bombarding you with fire. So I'm going to make a roll for that one hotshot TIE fighter, Ace, who is doggedly following you. He's jinking after you and pursuing you. He appears to pretty much be like locked onto you. He's weaving and swerving to match your every move. You can almost sort of sense the pilot as he presses down on the triggers on his control paddle, and with a fire rate
point
on your X-wing.
That was a pretty good sound effect, dude.
Yeah, I think we should try the Destiny point
have
to make this a little bit more difficult for him. What do you guys think?
Absolutely.
It's just the one. I'm not worried about it right now. I want to save them for when we actually get engaged the squadron.
Yeah, let's hold on to it.
But I do want to angle my shield since they're just chasing me to where I have double back instead of 1 and 1. So
Okay, no problems.
Setbacks.
That's fine. I'll up that to setbacks. I'm going to spend my last destiny point. Okay, here we go. Okay, in which case you would normally take 6 damage minus whatever the armor of your X-Wing is.
So 2.
Your X-Wing shudders as these bolts of blaster energy thud into the back of you. However, you're almost at the rendezvous coordinates. The other 3 members of the Vermillion squad sat there. You see Clicker's ship sort of going full bore, sort of top speed, like squeezing every last ounce of speed out of the engines, heading directly back towards where you guys are, and then like swooping dark birds of prey behind him, you see the shape of 11 TIE fighters, one of them directly behind him as it opens fire. 11.
Wouldn't it be 9?
I thought you said there was 12 originally and I blew up 3.
So it should have been 15 originally. I made a mistake there.
Okay, so
one
there's
of them.
the 1 ace and then 11 squad members.
Yeah.
Okay.
My
see
hand is. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, you see one of them appears to be sort of directly behind Clicker, the one that's just fired at him. The others are sort of in a more spread out sort of formation moving forward. Obviously, there's a couple of squadrons of them sort of keeping formation with each other, whereas one of them appears to have broke ranks, and it's very deliberately, as though it's got some sort of personal agenda against Clicker almost. You know, perhaps he's pissed that particular TIE fighter off for some reason, who knows? But it appears to be sort of very doggedly following behind him.
My hand is on.
Clicker had like blown up his squad members or something. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't imagine what it is.
Clicker's
My
obviously
hand is
bugging
on-
them.
My hand is on the throttle. I'm waiting for the commander to say go. The minute he does that, I'm punching it and going after the one that's directly on Clicker.
Okay. You see all this going on, Vermillion 1. What are your orders to your squadron? They're all poised and waiting.
I'm doing the whole not yet, and go.
Nice.
Sounds like
Literally,
giving
as soon as you start pronouncing the "g" of go, you see the ships go.
And knowing that he's going to do that, I'm going to drop in to form a defensive thing to let him be the hot shot that he wants to be. But if anybody's going to go after him, I'm going to cover his butt because I know he's going to get in trouble.
Kelvar, are you actually punching it, or are you just accelerating?
No, I'm legitimately punching it. That's 2 strain on my ship.
2 strain?
Indeed.
So the 2 guys in the back are going to get the equivalent of the gain the advantage action, since they're all formed on me. That would exclude Clicker because he's too far away.
Okay. No
Sorry,
problems.
what is that advantage again, please?
It's called gain the advantage. It's an action.
It's on page 247 of Age of Rebellion.
Yeah, 247. It reflects constant frank give and take of a dogfight between small craft. He's going to ignore all penalties imposed by his own and his opponent's use of evasive maneuvers and starship maneuvers.
Okay, splendid. Very nice. Okay, as you're zooming to help out Clicker, Kelvar, you can see he's, based on your experience, you've obviously watched a number of other fighters maneuver. You're no slacker when it comes to the starship piloting yourself. You can see that the TIE fighter that's sort of doggedly following him, there's obviously a very skilled pilot behind the controls. I mean, TIE fighters aren't easy to pilot at the best of times given how quick and potentially fragile they are. But this guy is literally on Clicker's tail, like Clicker can't shake him.
So what this should do in game terms is it should cancel that guy's like evasive maneuvers if he's using them, and he'll have to do a gain the advantage again to counter what I'm doing for 1 round.
Okay, no problems. Okay, no problems.
Okay.
Right, Kelvar, you're zooming towards Clicker. Like I say, you can see this expertly piloted TIE fighter dogging the back of him. as you sort of look on your sensors, you see the telemetry coming in. You can see that the two squads that are behind this TIE fighter ace, one of them appears to have split off and is heading towards Orvan. The other is closing on Vermillion 1 on Jin.
Okay. I am going to initiate my... Where is it? My showboat skill. Would shortcut count here since I'm chasing this guy?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to initiate my showboat, so I'm going to suffer 2 strain myself. Okay. And if I make a piloting check, I get to add triumph to my next result. And I'm going to use the showboat on my gain the advantage tactic that I'm going to use, which shortcut will add to.
Okay, no problems.
What is the difficulty?
The difficulty at the moment, since you're moving at similar speeds and you're similarly sized vehicles, would be 2.
Okay, so I have these 2. I have that. Okay.
Do you have quick strike, Calvar?
I do not have quick strike.
Okay.
All right. And you said 2. I'm going to use a light side point. Just to actually no, I'm going to save it for my attack. All right. Okay. Boop. That's a bunch of advantage. That's not exactly what I want.
Okay, so you've not hit, but obviously you can use those advantages to give other people boosts, make maneuvers, etc.
Oh, no, I wasn't attacking.
No, that's your action.
This was my maneuver to gain the advantage.
No,
which, I mean, I basically did the same thing that I was going to do anyway, just with, you know, advantages.
Gain the advantage is an action, not a maneuver.
Oh, it is? It is an action?
Yep.
Yeah, and I've given that to you already. You've got it.
Oh, snap. Okay, that's my bad.
That's all right.
I misheard.
No problems.
In that case, could I instead roll for an attack?
Yep, go for it.
Okay. It's going to actually be the same dice unless his difficulty changes.
No, the difficulty is the same.
I don't get a setback or anything?
They would have the... Oh, wait, no, they don't have shields because they're TIE fighters.
That's right.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then I will use a light
shields.
side. And I am going to use a proton torpedo on this guy.
Okay, go for it.
Because that sounds fun.
That's probably overkill, but...
Yes! Alright, so because I was successful, do I gain the triumph? Because I don't know exactly how Showboat works. Okay. Then I am going to crit this guy with my proton torpedo. And that is a total of 9 damage and a crit. And I'm going to give a boost dice to Clicker. However, because I am a Togruta, whenever I help him out, he's going to get 2 boost die.
Nice. You're a
okay, no problems. Yes. Feel free to narrate how you spectacularly deal with this TIE fighter race.
Is he straight up dead?
Yep, he's toast.
So after my initial whoosh, straight out from the rock, I go frickin' making me sit there, wait, taking all the glory, kicking the hornet's nest, and I have a hail of fire that keeps him centered right in front of me, because if he goes out of that hail, he's going to get hit either way, and my proton torpedo smacks straight into his back. And Clicker, you hear an explosion right behind you, and you think that it's the end of your life for just half a second, and all this shrapnel just kind of goes around you. And I go, Bugface, you owe me dinner.
as he says this, there's a dull thump on the top of your cockpit clicker as a black-clad figure sort of bumps the top of your cockpit and then drifts off into the blackness of space as the TIE fighter pilots rapidly freezing and breaking apart body hits the top of your cockpit and then disappears off at the speed you're going.
Can my triumph be that this demoralized the squadron?
I don't think you got a triumph.
No, I had showboat.
His talent.
His talent.
For his
Gotcha.
talent. Yeah.
Gives him a
That's,
from, basically.
that's not a problem. What I will represent that as is I'll represent that by giving Orvan and Jin, who are about to face the other two squadrons, a boost dice for the next round to represent the fact that they're maybe not quite so keen to rush into combat with you guys now, having seen that sort of the ace amongst their group sort of detonate explosively and float off into space. Okay, Orvan, I'm going to deal with you first. A TIE fighter wing of 4 craft rushes towards you. In the blackness of space, you can't hear the telltale screaming sound of the TIE fighters as they approach you. However, you can imagine what it sounds like. Their weapons go hot and they begin firing at you. Now that's 4 TIE fighters firing at you, Orvan. So I'm going to roll for them.
Okay, I'd like you to take a destiny point as a cutting it down.
Sorry, say again.
I'd like to use a destiny point as a part of a defense if I can.
Okay, not a problem.
And I don't really have much else yet. I have to wait for the result, I guess.
So I think it'd be 1 purple, 1 red, 1 black.
Yeah.
Against me?
What I'm going for.
Or to hit me?
Yeah.
For
To hit
them
you, yeah.
attacking, just
Because obviously
destiny.
you use a destiny point to upgrade their difficulty. Normally it would have been 2 purple, now it's 1 purple, 1 red. Okay, so I'm going to roll for that. Let me just look at their stats. There we go, splendid. Okay, so the first one misses you entirely. Okay.
Nice. Ooh. He just shot his buddy.
So from from the first one, you would normally be taking 7 damage. That's minus whatever armor you've got.
Just 3.
Okay, and from the second one, it would be 6 damage, obviously minus your armor.
I'm dead.
What?
That's 10, I'm dead.
No,
I
no,
have
no.
10 hit points.
Shit. Yeah, but
Yeah,
you
my
have
ship
3 soak.
only has, that's the 3rd hit I've taken. It's more than 10. I'm dead.
Oh, man.
Okay, so what happens is you guys in the rest of your ship, you see these 4 TIE fighters zooming towards Orvan. There is a cavalcade of blaster fire towards his vessel. You see his X-Wing get pretty comprehensively torn apart. The lights that you would have been able to see in the cockpit, etc., start flickering and going out as his ships slowly start sort of like drifting almost as the acceleration cuts off. Okay, we're
Okay,
coming
so I'm
across
gonna,
to...
okay, hold on. I'm going to pause there for a sec. Am I dead?
Yep. No.
Okay, well, then I'm going to say goodnight, guys.
No, no, no. He said you're not dead. Your ship's
Huh?
dead. There's a difference between you and your ship.
Yeah, but okay.
Don't worry, I'm sure we'll try to get you in another ship or a TIE fighter or something.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got Vermillion 1 left. You've seen one of your squad as effectively dead in space.
Uh-huh.
There's another squadron of these TIE fighters closing in on yourself.
Okay.
It looks as though the ones around Vermillion 2 are sort of getting ready to finish him off, effectively. What do you do?
Well, basically, let's see here. That was Vermillion 2, who's kind of floating in space.
Yeah.
All right. Immediately, I'm gonna go. Try to communicate with him, see if he's alive. Orvan, are you all right?
Okay, Orvan, your emergency life support is still functioning, but effectively you've got like no power to your systems at the minute. You could potentially get them back online, but at the minute you're pretty much dead in space, although you are still alive. One more blast like that will probably finish you off.
Okay.
Okay, can he eject and stay, you know, kind of like away from his ship so he won't be a target?
Oh yeah, he could certainly eject. That wouldn't be a problem.
Okay,
That
I
runs
tell
off
him to
the
do that, and
emergency
we're going to
power
be picking him up.
supply.
Yeah, I let him know to eject, and we'll be picking him up. I don't want them to finish off his ship thinking that he's still in there. It'll be a lot harder to hit him than his ship. At this point, I'm going to use Quick Strike, kind of circle around to protect Orvan, and split off from the group. And I'm going to try to take one out. Let's see here. This is a 2 difficulty. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use the aim maneuver, and I also have Quick Strike. So if they haven't fired on me yet, I get a boost.
Okay, go for it.
All right, that's going to give me 2 advantage and a success, giving me 6 points of damage.
Okay, you have successfully dispatched one of the TIE fighters. Were you going for one of the ones that's pursuing you or one of the ones around Orvan's ship?
One of the ones around Orvan's ship.
Okay, not a problem. Feel free to narrate how you deal with that fool.
Okay, as he's kind of like going in for the kill shot, or probably gloating inside his own cockpit there, I swoop in before he knows it and take him out. Fly right through his debris.
Okay, not a problem. You press down the fire buttons on your control pad. There is an explosion of spent atmosphere from inside the TIE fighter. Shards of it fly in each direction, propelled by the explosion of its power plant, and you fly through this cloud of brief flames and debris. There are 4 of them behind you and 3 of them currently still in front of you around where Orvan's ship is floating.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, Clicker. What are you doing at the moment?
Okay, so there's 4 around Orvan, or 3 around Orvan's debris, 4 of them tracing Vermillion 1, and 3 others?
No, there are 3 around Orvan, 4 chasing after Vermillion 1. That's the lot.
Okay. I'm going to do the whole spin, a really tight spin, doing the loop thing, tighter than most X-Wings can even manage because I have the higher maneuverability than most.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to line up a shot. I'm going to launch 2 torpedoes, basically because they have the linked 1 quality, and basically I'm aiming at each cluster of TIE fighters. So the actual targets of each one is the lead TIE fighter in each of those groups, and then if I get enough advantages, I'll use the blast to hopefully take out all 7 of them or damage all 7 of them.
Okay, which one are you sort of shooting at as the main target? Is it the ones around Orvan or the ones that are closing on behind Vermillion 1?
The 4 around Vermillion 1 will be my primary torpedo target, so if I don't get enough advantages to hit with both.
Okay, make your roll.
Can I suggest all of us using a maneuver to use the asteroids as cover during all of this?
Well, I don't think they'll have a maneuver at the moment. I'm going to aim once, and I'm going to suffer 2 strain to stay on target.
Okay.
Which will upgrade my attack roll, but also it will upgrade any attack rolls against me until the next round.
Okay, not a problem. You may have to remind me when it comes to making attack rolls on you, but that's fine.
And here, it's difficulty 2, right?
That's correct.
Really?
Dang.
Did I do something wrong? Hang on a second. Oh, did I have the 2 boost dice from?
You do have the 2 boost dice from me.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine. Do the whole
Nope.
roll again.
Oh man!
Oh,
Success.
What are the chances?
If you had gotten 1 success, that would have been like
No.
all the things you needed.
Now here's a question though. Does blast require you to hit your primary target?
It's an interesting
Ooh.
question.
Because the whole idea is it's hitting everything in the area. It doesn't matter if I hit the intended primary target or not to do damage to everything in the area.
I would think that that's a no, because like if you throw a grenade and it's supposed to explode, it doesn't actually have to hit anything.
Indeed, I think the attack roll more represents you sort of putting the grenade or the torpedo or whatever in the appropriate place.
For maximal damage.
Indeed.
However,
whilst
the
then-
user may also trigger blast if the attack misses by spending 3 advantages. In this case, the original target and every target engaged with the original target suffers damage equal to the blast rating of the weapon. So it's blast rating 6, and I have 6 advantages. So I've got enough advantages to trigger both of them. So they detonate close enough in proximity.
Okay, so how much damage are you doing to each TIE fighter?
6 to each TIE fighter.
Okay, that's 4 scragged. Feel free to narrate that.
Clicker does the tight turn, and basically he's going to come zooming by Vermillion 2, using the debris Vermillion 2 to hide the launch of the torpedoes till it's too late for the TIE fighters to actually maneuver away. But on the flip side, the debris itself interfered with his targeting computer, not allowing a direct hit on any of the TIE fighters, as they are just caught in the explosion.
Okay, not a problem. So that effectively just leaves 3 of the TIE fighters that are sort of closing with Orvan's ship. Now, Orvan, I'm going to recommend that perhaps you might want to do a damage control rating maneuver to your ship.
I still need to know what the total damage was on all of it, because after I took the 3 hits, I kind of
The
lost
damage
focus.
control thing, though.
No. I
We'll put
need
you
to know
at
how
1.
much.
It'll effectively just reduce you to 0.
Yeah.
It doesn't really track into the minuses. Okay, so if you're going to make a damage control roll, assuming that's what you're going to do.
Sure.
I think it's
It will
mechanics
be
2.
a mechanics check. Due to the damage you've taken, it will be a difficulty 3. Don't forget you will get a boost from the R2 unit.
And a boost from my actions with the Triumph.
Oof, fuck. I hit the self-destruct to get it over with.
Okay, if that's what you want to do,
No,
I will say
I'm just-
that is what happens.
Wait,
got
why didn't
4
you have your why didn't you have
I didn't
your
get to
R2 roll for it?
Yeah, the R2 can do the damage control.
Well, I was
You
told,
do potentially.
I was told I had to do it. That's why I rolled for me.
Since each person can only make a damage control roll once per encounter, you could effectively have the R2 unit make a secondary roll, since it is a separate person from yourself.
Okay, so does it have any boost dice or no?
Okay, it won't get any boost dice because it's the one doing it. It's not assisting anyone. However, the astromech has mechanics 2 yellow. Yep. You might want to spend a force dice.
It's 2 yellow and 1 green.
Oh,
And if you spend that force dice, then it becomes 3 yellow.
Yeah, feel free to re-roll the whole dice roll there. Okay.
Oh my good lord.
Your R2 unit with almost unheard of skill as it sort of moves itself out of its place and begins moving along the outside of your vessel. Its small laser torch trying to weld together as best it can the damage that's been done. It has restored a single point of hull to your X-Wing and has restored some power and basic maneuverability to your craft. The lights flicker and come on in your cockpit.
I just shake my head, just completely astonished that it happened. You know, it's like I opened the little umbrella and let the rock fall on me, kind of. The coyote thing.
Okay, the rest of you are watching. You see this R2 unit moving along the outside of the vessel using like maneuvering jets and trying to weld it together. It's still looking like a strong breeze could like blow this X-Wing apart, but you're quite surprised when you see the lights flicker and come on in the cockpit, and you can now see Orvan like moving around, so you know he's still alive, but his ship's in pretty bad shape still.
All right, well, that'll definitely boost morale, down but not out. And at this point, I say we kind of do an OK Corral type maneuver where we are all protecting his ship, weaving in and out of the asteroids, and trying to pull as many ties away from him as possible.
Okay. The TIE fighters, given that they pretty much assume Orvan's toast, given that his ship's still, as far as they're concerned, it's still floating in space because they're not really scanning him to see that he's managed to get some power back.
Well, there's few enough of them left that the 3 active X-Wings are the bigger problem for them.
Indeed, there are 3 TIE fighters left. They each break apart and one of them zooms towards each of you, and they're going to take fire, once of them each shooting at you. So I'm going to roll, first of all, for the one shooting at Clicker.
Don't forget, he upgrades his attack roll because I did stay on target.
Oh yeah, let me re-roll that then.
And so, yeah.
Ooh.
That's not a problem. His fire goes wild and gets pretty much nowhere near you. This guy who was shooting
too much turbulence from the explosion.
He's obviously nowhere near the skill level of the guy that was pursuing you previously. We're then going to turn to the one who is zooming towards Vermillion 1, who takes his shot. Okay. He is going to be doing 7 damage, obviously minus your armor. As with a shots thud into the side of your X-Wing, Vermillion 1.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yep, you have taken 7 damage minus whatever your armor is.
Okay, I'm sorry. I probably should have mentioned, but we're going to go with it 7 damage minus armor. I have something called Tricky Target, which makes me 1 silhouette lower, and I have Defensive Driving, which gives me 1 extra defense.
Okay, not a problem. In which case, I will re-roll that, adding the extra black dice. Okay, you will still be taking the same damage.
Okay, 7 damage minus my armor. Gotcha.
Yep. As you feel the juddering shots of this blaster fire thud into the side of your vessel. Then finally we come to the TIE fighter who is shooting at Kelvar. Do you have any special moves or maneuvers that make it more difficult for you to be hit, Kelvar?
That's probably a thing that I have. I have nope. That's the one thing I don't have.
I didn't even know they existed.
I don't think the hot shot has anything like that.
No, we don't have much in the way of defense.
No, they're. I mean, your defense is second chances, basically.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh!
How bad? Oh.
It's triumph bad.
Okay. You will be taking 6 points of damage minus your armor. And I'd also like you to roll me a D100, please, Kelvar.
Roll low.
Oh, yay. That's
low.
fun.
That's That's good.
I got a 5%. Awesome. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, a couple of your secondary systems short out due to the energy overload, causing one strain to your vessel, as a number of the secondary systems are fried. So sparks flare out of your console and spray over you as this blaster fire thuds into the top of your ship.
Okie doke.
Okay, we then come around to Jen. Jen, what are you doing?
Yes, sir. All right. Again, I'm just going to try to come out of cover and swoop in. I'm going to fire some proton torpedoes as well at a clump of them. Are there any targets that are kind of clumped together?
Not really now, since the three of them have split apart to one go after each of you.
Okay.
there's
then-
only
There's not
one
really
for
enough
each of us
of
now.
them. There's not really enough of them to be in formation at the moment.
All right. Very well. I'm just going to do my regular lasers then. And let's
Okay.
see here.
It'll be a difficulty of 1 purple and 1 red, since I will spend a destiny point.
Okay. I'm going to take 2 strain to double aim. And here we go.
Oh.
All right. That'll fly by him, but I'm going to get a bunch of advantage. I'm going to try to give... what can I do? I'm going to use 2 setback die to basically, go back... 2 advantage, I'm sorry, to go back into cover. And
Okay.
the other 2, I'm going to pass a boost die to the next pilot.
The other 3
Okay.
to pass
Yeah,
through.
the other 3, I don't know how many I could pass.
Yeah.
I guess 1
Okay.
boost die to myself and 1 to the next pilot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Orvan, we come to you next. You watch as, sort of just off to your starboard side, blaster fire smashes into one of your companions. You see Vermillion 1 attempting to return fire, sort of ducking and weaving in and out of these free-floating asteroids, although he doesn't seem to land an actual hit on the TIE fighter that's pursuing him. They seem largely to be ignoring you at the moment, presuming that you're dead in space. What do you do, Orvan?
Can I do anything? Like you said, I had basically no power left.
Yeah, no, you've had emergency power restored, but
Okay.
basically your ship's in full working order, but obviously you've only got 1 point of hull left.
Right. Okay. Then I'm gonna go from dead in space to, hello, notice me, I'm right here, right behind one of the ones following the closest teammate that I've got.
Okay, that's probably Vermillion 1. So are you going to take a shot at the TIE fighter that's menacing him?
That sounds like a plan. What's
Okay,
the difficulty on him?
the difficulty is 2 purple.
Don't forget the boost dice that Vermillion 1 passed you.
Very well. And, okay. I'm not going to use any special points or anything, I'm just going to roll.
Okay, go for it.
Booyah!
Okay, how much damage are you inflicting? This will be the basic damage of your weapon.
7.
You should link.
I don't know if I'm going to need to. It does 6 of 7 with the +1. Oh, no, just 6.
Okay, not a problem. As you're sort of trying to avoid this TIE fighter, Vermillion 1, there's suddenly a from the direction of Vermillion 2. Blaster fire slamming into this TIE fighter, sending it spinning away from you slightly. As it passes very close to you, Vermillion 1, you can see the pilot sort of still active and his ship still barely functional, struggling with the controls, trying to right this TIE fighter as it spins around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how
We
many
then come to-
of the advantages can I use to get a piece of information that would be valuable to us in this encounter?
let me just have a look.
Is that
That
2 or
takes
3?
1. It takes 1 to do that.
It's 1
Okay.
to know it's an important enemy flaw.
Sure, then I will take that. And
Okay.
then with my other 3, I will put a setback die on that pilot,
Okay, not a problem.
and I will pass a boost die with my last one to whoever on my team goes next.
Okay, no problems. I will say the advantage you've noticed is that your previous salvo of fire has severed the fuel line of the TIE fighter that's spinning round. You can actually see a fine mist of this, obviously a highly explosive fuel sort of filling the space around it in droplets drifting off in zero gravity.
Okay.
Okay, we then come to Vermillion 3, Clicker.
I think Vermillion 3 might be getting at least 2 boost die coming his way.
He just passed 1 to me, and then I'm gonna aim. So that'd be 2. Clicker is keeping the one that's on his tail. He's not purposefully losing him. He's keeping him interested, but he's spinning around in the battlefield, and he's going to shoot the one off of Kelvar's tail.
Okay, not a problem. Go for it.
Aw.
So that will be 7 damage.
Okay. Feel free to narrate how you deal with the one that's on Calvar's tail.
Alright, so as Kelvar's doing the whole trying to get angle back on the one that was shooting at him, basically I do the whole play chicken with Kelvar, and whenever he ducks, I take shots at the one that was tailing him, and I'm going to use my 3 advantages to pass him 3 boost dice, as he has now a head-on shot on the one tailing me.
Okay, and indeed, that's what happens as the two of you sort of jink at the last moment. And literally, as you sort of go upside down, Calvar, you could almost reach out if the cockpits weren't there and sort of pat Clicker on the shoulder. That's how close your ship's come. You can sort of see him as you look up, sort of looking up at you from his perspective. And then as you straighten up, you see the last of the TIE fighters in front of you.
All right. As we're passing by each other, I am going to initiate coup de grace, which, let's see. When piloting a starship, it allows me to take 2 strain to perform the maneuver and gain advantage over the opponent. And now I have something like 4 boost die.
Okay.
And
Make your attack roll.
I am going to say what? Yeah,
if you're
what's the
attacking, make
difficulty?
your attack roll. The difficulty is 2.
And don't forget the 3 boost dice I just gave you.
Yep. And I'm also going to showboat because I
Why not?
can. I'm down to 7 strain, but I'm having too much fun. All right.
Nice.
Boop. Oh, I forgot there was a D100 in there. But yeah, all
Don't
that.
worry about it. We'll just ignore that. Okay.
All right, so
Feel free to narrate how you deal with the last TIE fighter, and more importantly, what does your character shout as he sails over this exploding Imperial craft?
as I'm passing by, I tell the droid to link me in to the open channel so that they can hear me.
So.
And as I turn up and around, I'm upside down and I'm looking at his backside, and I unleash my salvo and I say, "You just got tail-ended," because I'm late.
You shout that, you hear an angry voice start to reply on the open comlink. Then as you fire, there's an explosion, and whatever the reply was is cut off almost before it started.
The triumph is going to be, oh, he's gone. Oh, he's back. The triumph I would like to have is that the droid is able to make up some more patchwork while the enemies are all gone real quick.
Okay, in which case I'm going to ask Calvart, can you please make a mechanics roll for your droid? The difficulty is...
I meant for Alex.
Yeah, this is just to represent his droid. They all have the same stats. I'm just asking you to roll the other one.
2 yellow, 1 green.
Yeah, two yellow, 1 green. The difficulty is 3. Obviously, you can spend a force point if you wish, a destiny point.
I will.
Oh, man.
I got another triumph. Can we just
Failed?
count the triumph as a success?
It does that automatically. There's too many failures on the
Been
purple
cancelled
dice.
out.
Dang it!
Yeah.
Um,
What I'm going to say is, although given your boost, you're not able to actually, it's not able to actually repair any more of Orvan's vessel. However, in the next scene, when Orvan can make another damage control roll, he will get a boost from that roll.
okay.
Okay.
Once it appears that all the TIE fighters are clear,
Yeah.
I'll send the tight beam, just signal to the fleet, basically saying that whatever the pre-range signal was, saying that we've cleared out initial defenses.
The wolves are
Okay,
out of the
the
den,
hologram
sheep can come
of-
in.
The hologram of Gurgren flashes to life flickering in each of your vessels, perhaps slightly distorted by the magnetic interference from the asteroid. And he says, Vermillion 1, what's the situation?
I let them know that we've taken out their pilots, and we're going to be moving in to make sure that they don't have any other aircraft at their base. We've taken down some heavy fire, and Vermillion 2 needs some serious repairs.
Hey, it's not that bad. I got duct tape. It's all good.
We're bringing in the troop transport now. If they launch any more fighters, we need you to keep them off that troop transport until it gets to the surface. The priority is the troop transport, gentlemen. We're all expendable in this mission. That transport has to make the surface. Do I make myself clear?
Yeah, Clicker says, tell the transport pilot not to land at the hangar bay. It may be on fire.
You hear a sort of burbling, coughing sound from Gurgren that might be him laughing. You've not heard him laugh before, so you're not entirely sure. But he says, will do. Commander Gurgren out. And the hologram flickers off.
In the small moment of calm between now and the next wave, R2 unit, which I dub Biscuit, to fly over to Orvan's TIE fighter to help with repairs.
Yeah, I suggest we all do some repairs and get some system strain back if possible.
Okay, not a problem. Anyone who is looking to repair their vessel and yourself included, Orvan, since this is a separate scene, can make a roll either for themselves or their R2 unit. It is your choice.
I'm going to make a cool check to recover strain for myself, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty low on that, and I use it a lot.
Yeah, I did that as well.
What's the difficulty
difficulty
for the
for
repair?
How much damage is your ship taking? Are you on more than half hull?
Yes.
Okay, in which case the difficulty would be 2.
What's the difficulty for a cheese grater?
That would be difficulty 3.
I actually feel like that I've taken little enough damage that I'm going to fly close enough and have my R2 unit lash down to my ship, but then use the little jetpack to go over and help repairs on Vermillion 2.
Okay, in which case your roll will apply to Vermillion 2 rather than yourself. Obviously still make the roll yourself, Clicker.
So it's difficulty 2 because he's over half?
If it's Orvan's ship, it's difficulty 3, because I believe he's still on less than half.
I don't have much of a ship left. Nope.
Alright, so my R2 unit is helping him. Got 1 success.
Okay, so you've recovered another point of hull damage, Orvan, as Clicker pulls alongside and his small R2 unit, using its manoeuvring thrusters, moves over and begins helping yours, trying to push the panels back into place and arc weld them together.
And I'm going to be doing
Make sure to
small
remember
repairs on my own ship because I'm a mechanic. So I've only got 2 wounds, so is that just difficulty 1?
Yep.
Okay.
And 2 yellow
So,
instead of just 2 yellow.
sorry, what was that? Say again? Okay, all of you on your sensors, you begin picking up the rest of the ragtag fleet moving closer, moving through the system. As they get nearer, you can pick up on your sensors that this old Gazinti class cruiser, rather similar to the flagship, although this one's been adapted to carry troops. As it moves close, you can see that it's pretty ragtag, it's pretty ramshackle. A lot of the parts from it will have no doubt been cannibalized to provide for your own vessels to keep them running. You can see it's got pretty much no armament on it itself. It's moving fairly quickly and making a beeline straight for the moon. However, as it's moving closer, all of you pick up a transmission from the surface of the moon. And at this point, I'm going to do a tide change. So what I'd like each of you to suggest is what that transmission might be that you are picking up from the Imperial base on the moon. So does anyone want to go first with a suggestion?
I'm going to say that the transmission is warning us to... Well, you know what? The transmission is from an inside man.
Okay.
And he's basically letting us know what the situation is on the base and what are our chances, our best chances for success. We have a defector, maybe.
Okay. That's grand. Okay, what about yourself, Vermillion 2?
I'm going to say that the base is issuing us an ultimatum of certain death, and they have additional laser turrets now about to power up and target on us.
These additional laser turrets are now fully operational.
Splendid. Okay, Vermillion 3.
I'm going to say that the transmission is not from Imperial control portion of the base, but it is actually a crime lord who is taking the opportunity to see a potential profit, basically, and that he offers the ragtag fleet a safe landing zone and some of his thugs as assistance as long as he gets a portion of the supplies.
Okay, that's grand. And last but not least, Vermillion 4.
When the transmission comes in, we're receiving information that someone who is akin to a Red Baron, like in World War II, is now mobilizing in the Imperial forces to come meet Vermillion squad on the fields of battle.
Okay, not a problem. Okay, guys, so what we'll do now is we'll have a half-hour break. Obviously, people go and get a drink, nip to the toilet, whatever you want to do. And I'll post this up on the Tides of Change group. Then we'll see which one gets voted on. And when we get back, whichever one has the most votes, and feel free to vote yourself, guys, whichever one has the most votes, that will be what we'll go forward with in the game. So we will see you all in about half an hour, and I'm going to go and get this posted up on the Tides of Change group.
Okay.
Man, this has been a lot of fun. I am super excited about this because I've not had my my piloting experience in Star Wars yet. And it's been pretty cool.
I agree. I agree. This is very cool.
I wish I could echo that sentiment. I mean, I show up and get shot.
You did get shot a lot.
Well, the thing, I don't really like this system. Like, you have an amazing piloting skill, and it means absolutely nothing for defense. Like, I think some of it should count back against your opponent to try to hit you or something. But you just show up, you know what, I can beat your 2, you're dead, new character.
Well, it is a maneuver to do evasive actions, and that makes you a lot harder to
hit. Didn't get to go. We didn't roll initiative. Nothing happened. I showed up, I got shot. I showed up, I got shot again. So, you know, I'm a little baffled with the game mechanics. Because, honestly, I've got to do nothing, really. And it's not that I'm complaining, I'm just complaining about Fantasy Flight games, Star Wars in general. because I think the combat system doesn't take anything into consideration unless you can manage to get a 1 black setback dice for wearing armor. Like, to me, it doesn't really make enough. I have 4 piloting dice, I have shields, and I have the force, and all that I am is a target. So, whatever. It is what it is. I'm going to go take a break, grab something to eat, and I will see you in a bit.
All right. See you soon.
Okay, for people who may be watching and are wondering why there's not a lot going on at the minute, that's because we're in the middle of what's called a tide change, which is an optional mechanic used by the Tides of Change Facebook group. If you're into Star Wars, I highly recommend you check that out. And the idea of a tide change is that each of the 4 players proposes a potential plot twist. So in this case, it was what a signal from the Imperial fueling base might be. We have the suggestion that it is an inside man giving them a situation report, an ultimatum from the Imperial forces, a crime lord offering, for a cut of the profits, of course, a safe haven for the fleet, and the final offering was that an infamous fighter ace is suiting up, climbing into his TIE fighter and getting it ready to stick it to the rebel scum approaching the moon. These have all been posted in a poll on the Tides of Change Facebook group, and what happens with the tide change is that anyone who wants to can vote on that, and the option with the highest votes is what we go with in the game, so it allows the audience and the players to have a say what exactly happens with that plot twist. In the case of a tie, then both of the plot twists are melded together into a single plot twist of nigh on gargantuan proportions, which takes place when we kick back into the game. So we're just waiting for everyone to grab a drink, have a breather, etc., and get back, and once that is the case, we will then press on with the game.
Hi.
Currently, it would appear we have a tie between the inside man and the TIE Fighter Ace options, which could be quite interesting when we jump back into the game. Okay, we've got everyone but Vermillion 3, Josh playing clicker, so as soon as we get Josh back, we'll jump back in.
Can you guys see my overlay okay?
Yeah.
Good.
Hey, Jean, can you hear us? John? Mr. Alan Large? Am I not transmitting at all?
No, I
can
hear you just fine.
Okay.
John doesn't hear you.
He might have his microphone off, or his earphones off.
Mm.
Or, sorry, the volume off. It looks like he's wearing his ears. If that guy suits up and comes and gets us, I'm just going to kamikaze him. See if I can eject out and become part of the ground force base, or the ground force attack.
I think this is like the second time that my my tide change has been close to victory. And the last time it was I was playing No Boss. Man, that was a long time ago. I wonder if Andre's going to get those games back up. I'll message him actually.
What I think we have to do is definitely use some maneuvers to get covered. That way we give them a setback die. And try to do something to give them more setback dice.
I think we need to roll initiative so that we actually have a chance to go before they go.
This is true.
Yeah. Especially since some of us have talents that activate.
I think I'm changing my call sign
and
to
the
target.
inside man. So, assuming these votes remain steady, we'll be combining those two together once we jump back into the game.
what I'm hoping too is that if they do stuff to try to make themselves more difficult to hit, that if you guys are near me with the talent form on me, it should negate all of that. We should, in a sense, not have to roll for gain the advantage, which should make them normal silhouettes to hit instead of evasive maneuvers and all that they might try to have. Do any of you guys have any talents that make you more difficult to hit?
Not me.
I didn't even know they existed. I couldn't find them, or I would have taken them.
So right now we each have a shield, so that gives us at least one to make us more difficult to hit, one setback. And if we use a maneuver to say we're going into cover, we should give the enemy 2 setbacks. And if we ever get advantage, it might be a good idea to use it to give them another setback, because we seem to not have too much trouble hitting them, but when they do hit us, it hurts.
Yeah.
If I pass wind on my ship, I'm going to blow panels out of it. So,
what is your hull?
2.
What is your hull trauma right now?
I have 2 points.
Oh, God.
Can we use our Astromechs as well to help give you more repairs?
He already did that at the end before we went to break. It's not a big deal. I mean, it is what it is. I just, after spending quite a bit of time building character, doing all the Photoshop, show up and get blown up is kind of a letdown.
Yeah.
But it happens. That's just the way the Force works.
Sometimes RNG, this is not on your side.
You would be amazed if I gave you the list.
I met a few players who don't usually do well.
My friends keep me around because I'm the lightning rod. I mean, I'm talking my best friend that I was at his wedding, his best man. I am his lucky go-to guy.
It would appear we have a clear winner developing on the tide change poll now. It's no longer a tie.
But isn't it a TIE fighter? I'm sorry, I'm going to leave now.
Is that thing with that one thing on the wall goes, bing, bing, you've been fined 1 credit.
Yep. Terrible puns.
All right.
Oh, I am sweating in this thing.
Okay, so do we have everyone back, and are we ready to go? Have we got Vermillion?
We've been back.
Or is he dallying a bit too long in the pilot's mess?
We're back.
And he's got his thing up.
Overlay.
Okay, you guys are talking. Yeah. I appear to have entirely lost my sound. Hold on a second. There we go.
Oh, okay.
So sorted it.
Can you hear us now?
I do apologize. Yeah, I can hear you fine. I do apologise if anyone was trying to talk to me during that interlude. When I was getting a bit excited with the descriptions there, I'd obviously yanked the headphone cable and pulled it slightly out. These rebels, you just can't get the mechanics nowadays, man. That's what it is.
GM gets a setback dice.
I was trying to talk to you like 5 times.
I did wonder, cause it's only because I've just noticed, you get the little green sort of bit coming up to say there's output from the audio. I just sort of glanced across and I was like, are they talking? And then I just looked down and I was like, my cable was like lying on the desk instead of plugged in, and I was like, oh, for God's sake.
We definitely thought you were ignoring us.
No, I do apologize.
I felt super hurt and betrayed.
That wasn't me trying to play the aloof and cool GM card, guys.
So I just want to ask a quick question about the combat. If we use our setback dice, if we use our advantages, we could give the enemy setback dice, right? Instead of taking advantage for ourselves with a boost die.
Yes, that's
and
correct.
if we say that we're using a maneuver, we could go behind the cover of asteroids, and we could get a second setback dice to the enemy.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I also have like the tricky target skill, which says I have one. I'm one silhouette lower when being attacked. Does that mean that they need 3 purple to hit me?
Let me just have a look and I'll check.
No,
because it's only silhouette differences of 2 points or more.
2 points or more.
You're identical at the minute, so you'd only be 1 point difference. So it wouldn't actually affect this scale of combat. If it was like a larger vessel, then yeah, it probably would help you out a lot more.
Okay. And when I use the another ability, Form on Me, the friends who are in close range to me should negate any evasive maneuvers that the enemy is trying to use.
Okay.
Okay. So I just wanted to clarify that that's like in order. All right.
Okay, so we are going to jump back into the game. As you're all heading towards the moon, you can see the troop carrier approaching the moon, heading towards a site that's probably a couple of 100 miles away from the landing site, giving clickers advice that much of it may actually be on fire and it's probably not the best landing site at the moment. So they've wisely decided to take your sage counsel and pick a different spot entirely. You see this Gazinti-class cruiser moving towards it. However, as you do, Orvan, since you're sort of free to monitor things more, since you're just getting your ship repaired, etc., on your sensors, you're the first person to pick up this signal, and you hear a cruel and rather aristocratic voice come over the comlink saying, "This is the Count de Hoffren. If you have any sense, you will leave this area immediately or be destroyed in the name of the Empire."
Well, guys, looks like we have company.
Okay. While we were taking our breather, can I have asked Clicker to try to do something if possible, or are we past that?
That's fine. Go ahead.
I just wanted to see if the lot of us can salvage anything from the wreckage of the ties that we can monitor their communications back. Maybe some kind of, salvage something that their ships that we could actually hear them talking on their own frequencies to give us advantage. I figure if anyone could do that, it'd be Clicker.
I'll say if Clicker's going to try and patch in, it would be a computer's role.
That would be our astromechs attempting that for us then.
Okay, it's a difficulty 3
I'm
roll.
not a slicer, so. So what difficulty again?
3.
Oh, the astromech is 3.
Your astromech has patched you all in, and your friends obviously by the group comlink, to the TIE fighter's signal. Your astromech's been analysing it during the previous fight. You now have access to their comms. As you are listening to them and this mocking voice of this Count de Hoffren, anyone who is listening to that, who has any degree of core worlds knowledge, can make a roll to see if they have heard of this person before.
I have none of that. I will, however, say, excuse me, Commander, permission to respond.
I have knowledge warfare. Would that do?
Yeah, that's fine.
Two success and 2 advantage.
Okay. Anyone who gets a success, you know that the Count de Hoffren was originally a core world noble, raised to be almost fanatically loyal to the Imperial credo. He's regarded as something of a legend in the Imperial Navy. He's a bit of a maverick. He's almost like their equivalent of Kelvar, to be perfectly honest, although he's a good deal crueler and has more of a sense of entitlement. You also, more interestingly, Jim, know that he is renowned for flying a specially modified TIE bomber.
Oh, goodness.
Okay. I am going to open up a channel to the good old Count. And
Wait.
I'm going to...
Did you answer my question?
what's your question?
I was saying, Commander, permission to respond.
Oh, permission granted.
Hey, Nerf Herder, suck on Bantha Poodoo. That is all,
Nice.
Commander.
And then I'm going to give a coercion check on over to Com, letting him know that that's Kelvar over here. He's waiting to see you anxiously. He's looking forward to blowing you out of the sky piece by piece. He's going to toy with you for a minute, and then he's going to take you out. Over and out.
Okay. Make a coercion check. The difficulty is 2 purple, 1 red.
2
Over
over
the-
1 red.
While he's making that check, over the open comms to the people that can understand, Verping, Clicker saying something to the effect, does this guy think that Tailshot has any sense?
Can we get a boost die due to the fact that we just took out a couple of his squads?
You can indeed.
Okay. That's a failure.
Ah!
Ouch.
Unfortunately, that's a failure.
He's
Okay. As you finish your zinger to him, you hear him respond back in a sort of mocking, cruel tone and say, "Yes, I have heard of your." And you can almost, and the way he says Kelvar's name, he says it as in Kelvar rhymes with Bantha Poodoo. And he's like, "Yes, I've heard of your Kelvar, and I'm not impressed. So you've taken down a few of our lesser fighters. If they could be taken down by such rebel scum as yourselves, then they deserved their fate. However, your transport will not touch ground. I swear it by the name of my family." And he terminates the broadcast.
Yeah. Neither will you.
To the group, do we want to fight him near the transport, or do we want to intercept him in the atmosphere?
Hell no, we don't want to fight him near.
I say we lure him into the asteroids where we actually have some cover.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
With the transport approaching, all he'd have to do is go after the transport, and we would have to come out.
Good point.
We need to message the commander and tell him to stop.
That he can catch the transport.
transport,
guys. We either protect the transport or we go after him.
And that's an area then I say we go after it.
Well, I think if we go after him, we'd actually be clearing a way for the transport. I don't want the transport to get in the middle of this. So
What are the
if those
comlinks?
if those are our two choices, I say we go after him.
What are the Imperial? Sorry. What do the Imperial comlinks say they're doing? Are they sending ships after the transport, or is it just him?
Okay, the Imperial signals that you are sort of hacked into, thanks to Clicker's plucky astromech droid, you can tell that they are effectively scrambling 4 ships, 3 standard TIE fighters, 1 TIE bomber. The orders which you hear over the comms chatter are to take out the transport vessel at all costs.
All right, let's move in.
All right.
One bit of information you do get that may be useful is the fact that they know that any sort of more substantial help is very far away, since this is an isolated refueling depot on the outskirts of the system. So they're basically like, these TIE fighters they've got are all they've got left in terms of sort of space fighters. The rest of the troops to guard the base are ground troops.
Is there any indication of there actually being anti-aircraft laser cannons or anything like blaster cannons or ion cannons or anything like that on the planet or on the moon?
You're not picking up any signs of anti-aircraft weaponry on the moon. Like I say, it's a fairly small refueling depot. It's just you think probably the TIE fighters that were there were actually probably only there sort of refueling and getting refitted. They're probably going to be picked up later by a larger vessel. It just so happens that you guys have attacked while they were there refueling, so they've jumped in, clicked themselves into the TIE fighters and gone out to, fairly poorly to be honest, try and defend this moon.
Can we roll initiative before we
fine.
engage?
Mhm.
And is
This isn't like previous where it was basically clicker zooming towards you with all them sort of zooming up behind him. This is more a standard combat.
Right.
So yes, you would be rolling your initiative, which will be cool in this case since you're aware they're coming thanks to the hack into the comlink. So it is a simple, i.e. no difficulty, cool roll.
And is it okay to say that we have a boost die during this combat because we have their radios frequencies?
I will give you a boost dice to this initial initiative roll. However, you won't get a boost dice for like every roll during the combat.
Okay.
Kelvar's a cool guy. Oh, snap!
Go figure. The hotshot drops a triumph on initiative.
No, that was me.
Oh, that was you.
That's him.
Yep.
That's Orvan. I think maybe they've pushed Orvan a bit too far.
Yeah, they did.
As we're
first
accelerating
crack at
away from the transport, though, I want to con back to the flagship and say if Obsidian 2 and 4 are capable of flight, we could use them escorting the transport while we deal with these fighters.
You hear the base ships say their ships are pretty badly shot up, but we'll try and get them out as quickly as we can. I can't guarantee anything though.
Understood.
Okay. So currently we are looking at V2 followed by V3, then V1 and V4, I believe.
V4 is second.
Yeah.
Am I getting 4 and 3 mixed up?
Yep.
Probably.
Okay.
It's I think it's
My picture is the dice.
2, 4, 3, 1. I think.
Yep.
Okay.
As far as the PCs. As far as what we roll.
Problems.
I mean, we can
Okay,
change our
like
order
that.
every round anyway. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could change
Let
our
me make the
initiative,
roll
right?
for that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Good.
Boo.
So that's in the middle of us.
I suggest we set shields to forward position at this point.
How about double forward?
Hey,
Double
you
rainbow.
boost shields with an action. Okay, guys, so the initiative order at the minute is looking like Vermillion 2, followed by Vermillion 4, followed by 3, then it is the TIE Ace, then it is Vermillion 1, then it is the rest of the TIE Fighters.
Oh. I think V2 should go first because they got a triumph.
He did.
Well, I mean, we can do whatever order we want, though. If
Yeah.
it's 3 of us, then their ace, then 1 of us, then the squad.
Yeah, I'd like to go before they go, just so I could use quick strike, or else it'll be wasted.
Okay.
Does anyone else have quick strike in the group?
He can go on my turn.
Okay, so it's down to you guys. It's a player slot first. Which of you is going first?
I guess I could go first if you guys are okay with that. And
I'll go fourth. You 3 go, and then the ace, because I'm planning on launching a missile at the trio. So.
the three of you have the three of you will have to gain the advantage action this turn.
Okay, so as you guys are watching, you see this bomber flanked by these 3 TIE fighters leaving the orbit of the moon. They're obviously on a a course towards the fairly slow-moving troop transport that carries Furio Squadron.
Okay, I'm going to take 2 strain in order to do 2 aim maneuvers, and I'm going to roll it. What's the difficulty? Is it 2 purple?
The difficulty is 2 purple, yeah.
Does this guy have adversary? Because if so, it would be higher.
It depends. Are you shooting at the ace or are you shooting at the other ties?
I'm going to shoot at the other tie because I don't want to take Kelvar's kill. I don't want to assist him quite yet.
Okay.
Then let Kelvar go first. Because then you can support.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I just want to be able to use this boost die right now. Before they start shooting at me, then it's wasted. So I got 2 success and 4 advantage. With the 4 advantage, I'm definitely gonna use Link if it's not already dead.
Okay. How much damage are you doing?
That's gonna be 7 damage twice, and I'm gonna pass a boost die to my next ally.
Okay. That is enough to destroy 2 of the basic TIE fighters. So feel free to narrate how that goes down.
All right. I kind of take the lead, and I say, "Let's show them how it's done, boys." And basically, I shoot one dead on, which the wing flies off and hits his buddy, basically causing them to crash together. And then the rest of my team zoom past me.
Okay, no problems. So who is going next out of the player group?
Arvan,
Kelvar.
you want to go?
Oh, go ahead,
I'll
Kelvar
go.
first.
All right.
Kelvar, you
So,
got a boost die from me.
All right. So Kelvar, in his normal position at the tail end of the formation, I rocket forward. Pretty much, I'm going straight at the bomber, and I am going to use Showboat as I use Stay on Target, and shoot my gun.
Okay, not a problem. Your difficulty is 2 red and 1 purple.
Okay, I'm going to use a light side if that's okay with everybody.
He already used dark side.
There was still another. There was still another one left. So.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba. And I have that. Here we go. Ah, poo.
Give me boost dice.
Pass boost dice.
Alright, so
pass 3 boost dice.
as I'm charging at him, everything is missing, and Kelvar is just like, "What is this bullcrap?" And he jerks off to the side at the last minute to make sure he doesn't ram. And Orvarn, you're gonna get 2 sets of boost dice, which, because I'm a Togruta, you get 2 from my first one, and then another boost die from me just giving you another boost die.
So I get 3?
Yes.
3 boost die. Nice.
Yeah, because I'm a Togruta.
Togruta, no, that's when you're assisting. That's not passing boost dice.
Oh,
There's actually an assist maneuver. That's different.
You're still getting 2 though, Orvan.
Okay.
Thank you.
You could. Well, there's 3 advantages. He could pass 3 to whoever goes next, which happens to be Orvan.
I was gonna do that then.
Okay, cool. So you're back up to 3 boost dice. Orvan, if you're going next, there is the ace and a single TIE fighter left. You watch as this TIE fighter ace skillfully outmaneuvers the normally very impressive Kelvar, jinking around him and full speed directly towards the troop transport. Now, you've seen a few sort of bombers in action. It leaves you in no doubt that he's commencing a bombing run.
Okay. I would like to use my piloting. I don't know how well this is going to work. Essentially, I'm either going to kamikaze him or make him crash.
Okay.
And if I happen to hit him and I happen to blow myself up, I'm going to eject if I get any advantages. Because
okay, no.
I have
problems. What I'll say with this is, Yeah, I'll say with this, it's effectively an attack roll, but it obviously comes off your piloting rather than your shooting, because you're trying to ram him effectively.
Yep.
So,
And I have a force die, which I'm also putting in on this.
okay, the difficulty will be 2 red and 1 purple.
Okay. And I am going to use a force. I'm using a destiny point as well.
Okay, go ahead.
So I now go from my 4 piloting of yellow to 4 piloting of yellow plus a green, and 3 boost dice.
Yeah, correct.
Nice.
Nice.
Don't forget the 4th boost dice from the handling of your weapon. Of your ship has handling of 1.
Okay, so that means I have a green, 4 yellows, 4 blues against the purple and 2 reds, and I have my force die in there.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
yes. And I will take.
You're fine. You have 2.
Yes, I will take my 1 force point as a success to cancel that failure, and I will take my 2nd force point to make whatever I wanted to happen, and 2 disadvantages, or I'm going to put a disadvantage on him.
Okay, not a problem. Now, are you looking to just sort of like throw him away, or are you literally going for like the kamikaze charge?
Oh no, my ship's toast. I'm figuring I'm going to hit him and eject. If I have to, or I would rather make him crash. Your choice of how that pulls out. This hotshot pilot, I want to embarrass him.
Okay. What I'm going to say is, in the best tradition of Star Wars, what happens is you all watch slightly open-mouthed as Orvan literally just like presses forward on the throttle and sets himself on a collision course with his bomber that's commenced a bombing run towards the surface of the troop transport cruiser. You watch as the 2 ships collide. There's a loud that is silent in the black expanse of space. Huge explosions ripple outwards. The last thing you see is this. You watch as the TIE Ace, you can see him from where you are, Kelvar, behind him. He pulls up at the last minute trying to avoid this collision, and Orvan's ship just like shears off one of the stabilizing fins on the side of his vessel. You see fire gout out the side of it, and then in the best tradition of Star Wars, you see this Ace's TIE bomber sort of spinning off into the distance, now miles away from the Gazinti class cruiser that's carrying the troops, unable to stabilize itself to complete its bombing run. You watch as you see a small ejector pod, the cockpit of the X-Wing, as Orvan hits the eject button at the last minute and drifts up into space, leaving just a single TIE fighter closing on. The Ace is out of it. He's spinning off into space in a sort of Darth Vader Death Star style, as you see the last TIE fighter with just his lasers zooming towards the Gazinti transport. However, there is still 1 player space left before that TIE fighter gets to make his shot.
I'm going to be maneuvering to where I'm actually going to do. I'm not going to do any special maneuvers here. I'm going to save my maneuvers for if I shoot him out of the sky, which I think I'm going to. Orvan, did you use your 2 advantages on that roll?
I said I was going to put a penalty on the bad guy, with whichever bad guy's going next.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that.
Oh yeah. Bye-bye.
Okay, I think we know how this is going down, but Clicker, would you care to narrate exactly how this goes down?
I am going to shoot the TIE fighter out of the sky and continue my flight through his debris field in the direction of the TIE bomber. And I'm going to use the Triumph to indicate that, and my maneuvers for the turn. Clicker is actually going to fly and start matching the spin of the TIE bomber and use his own ship to stop its spin and save the pilot's life, because that's an officer and that's intelligence.
Okay, not a problem. And that is what happens. You've matched the spin of the TIE bomber. As you sort of look through the cockpit of it, the metal shards of his TIE fighter companion spinning lazily off into space and having been utterly destroyed by a barrage of fire. You can see the pilot wearing the black jumpsuit and all-covering helmet of a TIE pilot sort of slumped unconscious in the seat of his spinning craft. You match it and you slowly manage to stop its spin.
Okay. Once I think that I've got it stabilized as best as I can, basically, I'm going to signal to the fleet that I need a shuttle, like a Lambda class, whatever the equivalent would be in the Rebel fleet, something to pick this up, something with a tractor beam or something to bring it back to whether it's the landing vehicle or another ship in the fleet or whatever. Basically a range pickup. And I'm going to sit with it. Okay. Unless another threat poses itself, I'm going to sit with that to make sure it happens.
You all receive a comm signal from the Gazinti-class cruiser as it enters the orbit of the moon, sort of many miles away, picking a landing site far away from the original launch site of the TIE vessels. The signal says, "Looks like we're in, boys. Thanks very much, Vermillion Squadron. We'll do our best to get that fuel."
I'm grumbling the whole way that I'm going to go pick up Orvarn, and when I get over to him, I look through the cockpit at him directly, and I go, "You suck." But that was awesome.
And I tip my glasses. What a way to go, huh?
And
I give him a thumbs hear up. Some of them laughing over the comlink.
I'm changing my call sign. It's now Crash.
That's radical, man.
Okay.
And can we say that Jim Hidesco kind of goes in and launches his payload of proton torpedoes to help out the ground forces for any, I guess, enemy vehicles that he sees on ground before he returns to the ship?
Indeed. Any of you who wish can sort of follow the troop transport into the atmosphere. You launch a devastating salvo of your remaining proton torpedoes, basically clearing the entire area of pretty much anything that's alive where they're going to land. You sort of level the entire area.
Mm-hmm.
Kelvar, when they set down, drop me off with that shuttle. I'll fly it back home for them. Or I'll give them a hand if they need it.
I go, "Just don't crash the ship, okay?"
There's too many people on board for that. I'm already upset that I lost Roxo.
I go, "Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I'll set you down, man." And I land him. And I link into the commander. I say, "Commander, I'm ready for some sleep. Can we go home?"
This is Gergrun. Well done, Vermillion Squadron. Return to base. Over and out.
Roger that. You're all clear.
You get another message of thanks from the pilot of the Gazinti-class cruiser as it begins landing procedures. And with that, as the remnants of the Vermillion Squadron begin sort of, after dropping Orvan off, begin returning to the main carrier. Gentlemen, that is where we're going to call a close to the session with the resounding success of the Vermillion Squadron's mission. Thanks to you, the ground troops Furio squad will face almost no air bombardment since you pretty much destroyed any air forces that were on the base. They will also have a much easier time on the initial landing since they're not going to be under fire from stormtroopers, etc. as soon as they land, because you've leveled the landing site. It's now up to them to make their way inside that base and get the fuel, but thanks to your heroics in the depths of space, they will have a far easier time of it. So with that, I'm just going to say thank you very much for playing, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'm going to end the broadcast here.